Nkemdilim Begho is a seasoned information technology professional with over 15 years of industry experience in Africa's largest emerging economy, with a deep purpose and focus on bridging the digital divide and transforming Africa by harnessing the benefits of digital. At home in technology from childhood, Nkemdilim's walking in her father's footsteps as a second-generation Nigerian information technology expert. Currently CEO of Future Software Resources Limited, FutureSoft, one of Nigeria's leading digital and technology solutions companies, providing a broad range of solutions for the scaling African enterprise to consistently attract and retain its target audience, optimize its processes, and increase its bottom line. FutureSoft has served over 170 clients across 20 industries and has trained over 1,500 CEOs and executives in digital and social media marketing. Nkemdilim is recognized as an Obama African leader, Forbes top 10 female tech founders in Africa, Global Digital Women top 10 most inspiring women in Africa, Lionesses of Africa top 100 women, and Ventures Africa 42 most innovative Africans. She serves on the board of Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC, as well as the board of the Society for Corporate Governance in Nigeria, where she chairs the Digital and Innovation Committee. She also serves in the leadership of the NESG Digital Economy Thematic Group, is a member of the Nigerian National IT Software Committee and the Nigerian Electronic Voting Think Tank, where she actively contributes to the advancement of digitalization and shaping policy to support its inclusive delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, Nkemdilim Begho. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today at this conference. I am going to, please could you allow me to share my screen so that I can project my slides, please? Sorry, could the host please allow me to share my screen?
Yes, ma'am. We'll do that now. You can try it now, ma'am.
Okay. All right, can everybody see my screen? Sorry, can you just confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can, ma'am.
Okay, great. So today we'll be talking about opportunities in the digital economy. And I'll just talk you through quickly, what you can expect in the future, right? You're still in school, which means that you're just preparing for entering the business world, right? And as you enter the business world, you have to understand that anyone who is probably maybe 18 today is going to do a job in the future that doesn't exist yet, right? Which means that you also are going to be in that transition period, right? You're going to be just there at the cusp, where you are going to be asked to do jobs that the job descriptions don't exist yet, right? And we've seen this evolution over the years. We take back 10 years, there was no such job as digital marketing executive or chatbot designer or A&B marketer, for example, right? These are all terms and job descriptions that have come to life over the years because of the digital economy and because of the advancement of technology. So we'll sort of just look at some definitions, we'll look at the opportunities, how you can leverage digital technologies, and then how you can leverage that. So digital technologies are electronic tools, systems, devices, and resources that basically just generate, store, or process data. Well-known examples are social media, online games, multimedia, and mobile phones, right? So I'm sure everybody is familiar with this. The digital economy refers to an economy that is based on digital technologies. The digital economy is also sometimes called the internet economy, the new economy, or the web economy, right? And this is really, it's something that has already started. It's not something that is in the future. So the digital economy already exists, and a lot of transactions are happening globally that are completely digital. And we're going to see a complete shift to a 100% digital world in the future. So what are the opportunities in the digital economy? The digital economy is really rapidly developing on a global basis, and it's the single most important driver of innovation, competitiveness, and growth, and really holds a lot of potential for entrepreneurs and small and medium-sized enterprises, right? So we've seen a lot of small companies that have become really, really big by being able to scale their businesses. The digital economy also gives you access to digital products and services that help optimize your processes and production, reduce your transaction costs, and transform supply chains, right? So this also means that for businesses and business owners, there are a lot of opportunities in using digital technologies to streamline and optimize their services. And then there are also a lot of opportunities for young people and women to engage in the gig economy. So when you're getting started, if it's not E, it's old. So how do you leverage this? So you guys are, Gen Zers, so you're in the middle of this world that is filled with pings, pokes, tweets, DMs, IMs, alerts, icons, buzzes, and plus ones, right? And as they say, if it's not E, it's old. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with ebooks, e-news, e-zines, e-learning, e-collaboration, e-content, e-communication, e-media, and e-commerce, right? And if you're not, then it's time to hop on that bandwagon. Some of the trends that we're seeing, as well as opportunities, are the emergence of marketplaces, e-commerce platforms, right? So these are opportunities not just for the creators of these platforms, but also for people who are sellers, right? It allows you to have a much wider presence in the local as well as global market, right? So just being able to join these marketplaces gives people within this digital economy much wider reach and much more economic opportunities. Platform businesses. So platform businesses are basically businesses that have two market sides. This could be buyers and sellers, right? It could be producers and people who are consumers of content, for example. So there are gaming platforms like the Skills gaming platform or Roblox that you may know that are platform businesses, right? So there is a platform, and then there are people who create the games, and there are people who consume the games, right? And there are people who do both. And there's monetization in all of this, right? So the people who consume the games do in-app purchases. The creators of the games are able to monetize. The platform is able to monetize transaction fees and things like that. So these are some of the things that are really, really key. Payment platforms. This year, Paystack got bought by Stripe for $200 million. Flutterwave got $1 billion valuation, right? I think that these are indicators of where fintech and payment platforms really are going, especially on the continent, right? And the opportunities and scale that is still achievable within those, within that sector. Then there's APIs. So APIs are platforms that allow you to connect to other services that other businesses offer. And we're going to see a lot of this in banking in the future. The central bank is sort of creating this API sandbox where you can put all your APIs, people can connect, and then that also creates opportunities to monetize, right? This allows small players, young people like you, to actually come into this space and create APIs that are useful, that allow the banks to use them. And that way you're creating an enterprise business, right? So you're not direct to consumer, but you are able to serve corporate clients, solve big problems, right? And they, a lot of the time, don't have the time or expertise. There's big data, AI, machine learning, identity management, And we're really seeing a lot of trends going towards the same thing with blockchain, right? These are the technologies of today, not of the future, right? They are just going to be more advanced as they evolve, going forward. But we've already seen that companies like Tesla are, have presented a human robot that is able to go to the supermarket and buy things, right? We have, seen that identity management is, being taken forward, where you can pay with your fingerprint or your smile in many countries around the world. There's tokenization of products and services, which means that you don't need to own something, right? But you can still own it in a way. So an example of this is basically tokenized property ownership, which means that you can buy a share of a piece of land. So as young people, all of the time, we think about, oh, how do we invest? We don't have much money, right? But the truth is that with this tokenization of products and services, it creates much more opportunities for wealth creation for young people like you, right? So there's a company called Corium. They're backed by FB and Quest, and they basically have tokenized property ownership, right? Which means that as low as 35,000 Naira allows you to become an owner of a piece of land, right? So you buy this token and over time, the value appreciates, right? So obviously the more you invest, the higher your returns. But the truth is that if the value of the land within 5 years, triples or doubles or goes 5x, right? You get 5x of your investment back after that period of time, right? You would never have had this opportunity if not for the tokenization, right? So even, yes, it's a small amount with a small return, but at the end of the day, it's still 5x of the money that you've put in. And there are many ways of this, that this tokenization is happening now. The biggest space that we're seeing tokenization, obviously, is the crypto world, where there are many companies who are using tokenization in order to actually raise funds that they can use to build their products out, right? So we're seeing ICOs, we're seeing a lot of people, sort of using tokens to create value. And then obviously there's digital transformation, which is a strategy that a lot of companies are applying now in order to be ready for the digital economy and be able to partake in the digital economy. Review of the Nigerian fintech ecosystem. And I've just shown this to just show the different spaces within it, right? So you have here the trading space, right? So this is basically stock trading, derivatives trading, forex trading. Then you have savings, right? So you have Cowrie, Piggy Bank, and a couple of others. Then you have banking, actual banking, right? So you have some banking, you have insurance, you have comparison sites. Then you have the payment space. So you can see how many people play in this payment space, right? Which tells you how big that payment space actually is and how many opportunities there are, right? And how many jobs there are that you could do as well. So take note of some of these companies, because those are the companies that you should be targeting to work in, right? A lot of the time when we're in school, we're told, oh, you need to work in a big oil company or you need to work in a big bank. The truth is, those companies are not the companies that are going to give you opportunities to innovate. They're not the companies that are going to give you opportunities to grow and become and stay relevant in the digital economy, right? So if you want to learn things and learn fast, join a startup, join a small company that has raised, join one of these bigger companies like Flutterwave, like Interswitch. Interswitch is also became a unicorn last year, right? And help be part of the innovation that they're driving, right? Because that's really where the future lies. Then you have data and you have Bitcoin, you have lending and financing, and you have business solutions, right? So these slides are a couple of years old, but I think they still give a fair representation of the ecosystem. And obviously you can, go in and find, new companies that have started, because there are many. A lot of the companies have also evolved beyond what is represented here on this slide. But I just thought it was a good overview, just showing how much innovation is actually happening in our shores and how many opportunities there are. If we look at the PropTech landscape, right? This is basically property development driven by technology, right? So you have sites that focus on property listings. You have flexible living startups. You have data analytics startups. You have building and construction startups. You have property and community management startups, investment and financing, right? So this is the company I spoke about, Corium, right? That allows you to invest in a tokenized manner. You have short stay apartments. So all of them are technology driven. And what you will find is that there is a really, really big and bustling technology landscape and ecosystem out there, right? And it's just a matter of how do you engage with these companies and how are you even able to identify the companies and know that these companies are the companies where you would want to work in the future, right? And I think one of the things is to really make sure that you're doing the right research. So there's so much to have really some evolution of existing technologies, right? So you would still have the current technologies being somewhat mainstream, even though I think things like mobile technologies are going to disappear over time, right? With IoT taking over and becoming more integrated, and voice becoming a much larger player in AI and machine learning, where you would be able to control things within your home, in your car, and anywhere using your voice, right? Without having to type or touch any type of screen, right? That's really where the future is going, to a much higher level of automation. And it may sound quite futuristic because in Nigeria we're still a little bit behind, but some of these technologies are already existent abroad, and some of them even here in Nigeria, right? New building blocks that are going to come into play, next generation genomics, advanced materials, right? You're also going to see a lot of blockchain, cryptocurrencies, human computer interfaces, right? Where you have virtual interfaces, right? So you know how in the movies you see them, do things in the air and, like they're searching, a database or calling up some data. That's going to be reality in the very near future. We're going to also transition into digital identities, right? Quantum computing is already on the rise, right? And it's important to understand these technologies. And there are many reasons why you need to understand where these shifts are going to, right? And one of the biggest ones is, again, about investing and building wealth. There are platforms like Invest Bamboo that allow you to buy tokenized shares, right? Which means you do not have to buy a full share of a company. So you can buy whatever amount of money you have, you buy that much, right? But as your portfolio grows, and as you get more returns on investments, you will get more benefits of that, right? And investing in the digital economy is really, for me, one of the biggest opportunities that young people need to take today, right? And Invest Bamboo allows you to invest in the US stock exchange, which means that you are able to actually invest into renewables, right? Which is a big thing. Electronic EVs, electronic vehicles, right? Another very big thing, companies that are working on autonomous vehicles. And advanced robotics, but you need to have the knowledge, opportunities that are out there. Know how this works, then you will not be able to actually harness these opportunities and really be able to become a part of that digital economy. So digital and you, here's how you can leverage the digital world. So first of all, with virtual, the boundaries have dropped, right? this is geographical boundaries. We are able to work really anywhere, and we are able to basically be virtual workers. So you are not only bound to, oh, let me find a job in Nigeria, and if the job is in Lagos, I have to move from Ibadan to Lagos, right? No, you can get a job in the States. You can get a job anywhere in the world. And I think that really is where the beauty lies, right? The fact that virtual has opened up so many more opportunities for you, and you are now a global worker and not just the local one. So you have to also change your mindset to start thinking like that. Use digital tools to stay organized at home and at work. I'm sure you guys are doing that already. Build financial freedom by leveraging technology-driven investment opportunities. So that's what I talked about, right? So it's using these opportunities and understanding how these platforms work, right? Whether it is investing in crypto, or it is investing in tokenized property, or it's investing in fractionalized shares, right? Using a platform like Invest Bamboo or Shaka. There are many different ones out there. Or whether it is starting to do angel investment, right? Come together as a group and put money together and become angel investors, right? There are many, many ways to basically leverage these technology-driven investment opportunities. The thing is, however, that you must understand the business behind it. You must understand the market behind it. You must understand how long it's going to take you to get a return. You must understand how to evaluate potential of a company, right, in order to invest in their shares or buy their token in a crypto token, for example, right? So it's really important that you actually understand how this digital economy works and how the businesses within, what the business models are, how the business models of the future are changing, right? What platform businesses are, what tokenized businesses are, and all of these different things. It's really, really important that you understand the underlying business models and the underlying technologies. This also leads me to this next point, right? You have the opportunities to build digital first businesses, right? And that I think is really, really amazing, because you are able to build businesses that can serve Nigeria, that can serve the continent, that can serve the world, right? And we've seen Nigerians do this, right? If you look at Shola from Paystack, right? This is a young guy, who had this dream of just making payments easier and more seamless, right? And his product was just superior to anything else that was in the market. It was superior to InterSwitch payment gateway. It was superior to all the banks' payment gateways. It was superior to Paga payment gateway. It was just so easy to integrate. So anyone who was building technology was using it, right? And with that came option. So if you're able to identify a problem and solve that problem, and then just know that you are able to really create a solution, right? So that's really, really key, being able to be a problem solver and build solutions that are relevant to your own environment, right? And then they can be scaled to a global basis. Connect with other young people and build a community, right? So it's really important that you also connect. And this is not people necessarily in Nigeria. It could be, but it can also be young people all over the world who are building amazing things, right? Start to research, start to really use tools and platforms like LinkedIn. Unfortunately, we don't have Twitter anymore, but if you use a VPN, use Twitter to find people who are very innovative and connect with them, right? Build your own network, build your community, make sure that you're able to really leverage the power of being able to use digital, right? When I was your age, we didn't have much of that, right? There was the internet, but it was sort of like Yahoo Messenger, MSN. That's how you stayed connected. But now I think there are so many more platforms that allow you to build much deeper connections and build meaningful connections that can help you in terms of unlocking opportunities. Learn digital skills and become a tech worker. If you're not already studying computer science, right? And even if you are, there are some skills that they will not teach you at school. That's just the honest truth. which means that you need to understand what is actually relevant out there, what is relevant to the industry, right? There are also organizations like University, like Decagon Institute, like Semicolon, who offer technology training, right? Front end, back end development, product design, project management, that allow you to get the skills, right? That will get you the opportunities within these ecosystems that I've talked about, right? There are also organizations like Skill Up Africa that give student loans to people who want to, either transition into technology or who are at the beginning of their career and just say, look, I need to learn technology skills or digital skills in order to become a tech worker. How do I do that? And then they help to connect you with training institutes and ensure that you have the opportunity to get internships and all sorts of different things, right? Participate in socioeconomic and political discussions, right? So you can also use technology to shape your environment, to shape your country, to have a word. And I think especially last year with NSAS, and this month is the anniversary of NSAS, right? I think that we saw the power of really using technology and the communities that young people had built, as well as the funding vehicles and payment gateways that were out there to really drive change, right? And then another thing that you can do is to build your personal brand and to position yourself for opportunities. So if you're already doing something that's really exciting, please make sure that you're documenting it properly by writing a blog. Please make sure that you are sharing your thoughts and the things that you're doing on a platform like LinkedIn, and that you've used the LinkedIn Executive Playbook to really optimize your LinkedIn profile, right? It's really, really important that you leverage all these different opportunities to build your brand, put yourself out there, right? And stand for something, be known for something, right? Because people will see that and they will recognize that. And as long as there's substance behind whatever you're packaging, you will be able to unlock major opportunities by doing that. And that takes me to the end of my presentation. So thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions now.
Questions from anyone? Okay. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Please, I really appreciate the opportunity of coming to this gathering, but I have a few questions to ask. I believe that when we talk about digital economy per se, we should try to lay emphasis on the basic system of the economy that the country is running. But as far as I'm concerned, I believe that digital economy has some brief challenges. And I want you to help us to address those challenges. And one of the challenges of digital economy is the new technology and the global threat that is coming. Please, how can we address all those issues?
Okay, I don't understand what challenges you're talking about. What do you mean global threats?
Okay, what I mean by global threat is this, like new, like this form of regulations that the government are putting on most of the digital technologies that are arising now. How are we going to address that?
What specific global threats are you talking about? I'm not clear on the question.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is this, that the global threat I'm trying to talk about is like the new inventions, new technologies that are coming out on the business side. How do we address that?
How is that a threat? The world will there's always going to be an evolution, and this evolution is the technology evolution, and it's going to be led by that, right? There's never going to be a day where innovation will stop, no matter what regulation says. Regulation will always play catch up. And that we've seen that in many places, right? So if you look at China, you look at Silicon Valley, you look at Ireland, right? Regulators are playing catch up. Regulators are engaging because they know that these technologies are the future. They know that this is where new businesses and new values are going to be created, right? And the same is happening here in Nigeria as well, right? So we are seeing engagements with regulators across board who are supporting or at least coming to the table to discuss some of these policies that need to be put in place, right? So for me, it's if you don't believe that the digital economy is here already, then you're asleep and you need to wake up, right? If you think, oh, well, but we're in Nigeria, Nigeria is kind of behind, everything is still being done manually, that's not true. Big pieces of the economy and the biggest chunks of what will be our future GDP is digital, right? And the sooner that young people key into that and key into the opportunities that that creates and key into the skills that are required to become major players within that, the world is your oyster, right? So I think that you need to not look at the negative sides of it, right? There will always be people who will not want it. There will always be people who will be against new technologies and evolution. But the truth is, it is here, it is coming, people are innovating, people are using it, and it is changing and disrupting the world. And we can use a very simple example like Uber, right? Uber, you know, if you go back 10 years, there was no Uber in Nigeria, right? Today in Lagos, this is the major means of transportation for young people, old people, and anyone in between, right? Simply because it is safe, because you can track where you're going, right? It is affordable because the prices are better than yellow cabs that we have here in Lagos, right? So I think it's really important to understand that convenience and consumer behavior will drive adoption of new technologies, right? And will drive adoption of policy, right? So globally, we've seen how, you know, regulators had to change policy to adopt to these new business models, right? And that's why I said you need to learn about the new business models so that you understand what that evolution has looked like in other markets, right? And so that you can then also predict trends of how that evolution is going to happen here. In some places or some technologies like fintech, we're much further ahead than other countries. We're further ahead than the US, further ahead than many countries in Europe when it comes to our financial service technology, right? So I think it's really important that we keep understanding that, and we understand that if we as humans are not ready with the skills, right, we have no place in this digital economy, regardless of how we see the landscape, right? So for me, I think in terms of threats, obviously there's cyber threats, and that's why a lot of companies that are looking into solutions for cybersecurity have gained so much value on their market share and market cap, right? So you have to be able to follow what are the trends, follow the changes in valuations of companies on the stock exchange, right? Local and global, in order to really see where is this going. So I hope that sort of answers your question, but definitely don't look at it in a negative way. Look at it as an opportunity, because that is what it is, right? It's this massive playing field that will bring opportunities if you understand it, right? And you are the generation that is sort of like going to be that generation that's in the gap, right? The kids that are coming after you guys are going to be much better equipped because they are going to have much more exposure, and it will be much more normalized for them, right? So you have to make sure that you don't get stuck, right? Where between old and new, traditional and, you know, new technology.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, we have another question.
All right.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Onwegbule Deborah, and my question is, okay, let me start like this. We are going into a digital age, and especially those in the media who have to do like their everyday things that surrounding the media. So when they want to grow, okay, I have to be precise. You want to get another job in the media, and you see the opportunities, or what they throw out to you is give your demo or something. And then you give them, that's digital, that's online, you submit it to them. But the thing is, why do they just throw this digital part and then expect that you travel from wherever you are to where they are? So what's the essence of the digital online? Like, Ma, do you understand, ma'am?
Somewhat. So I think part of it is also how you position yourself, right? If you're hotcake, and they will not make you travel, right? If you say, well, this is where I live, I'm going to do a virtual interview, but you know how good you are, then you will not be required to be somewhere in the physical, right? I think that a lot of it is also the fact that you have to realize for every job that is posted, there are thousands of applications. So if I now say, okay, thousands of people should come, right? I would probably have very big issues with, sort of managing the space I have in my office. So I tell people, send me your digital portfolio, your demos, whatever it is, right? And then the best people will be invited for probably interviews or trials or whatever my process is, right? So you also have to understand that one part is you also pushing back and saying, well, but can't we do a Skype meeting or a Zoom meeting, right, for the interview? And if they say no, then you say, I will still be available. I can come to Lagos or wherever I'm going for this interview, right? But if you don't make it known that you're open to a different way and that you prefer a different way of doing this interview, then they will just use their normal, regular process, right? May you lose some opportunities by opening your mouth and being bold and demanding a different way? Yes, of course. But those opportunities were never for you in the first place, right? Companies that are not flexible and that have not adapted to virtual are simply not a good fit for people who have adopted to it and who want to work in a forward-thinking company that is really, that is virtual. My company, for example, no one comes to the office. We all work virtual, and we've been doing that for the last 18 months. And I don't really think that we are ever going to return to full on-site work, right? We may have specific times in a month that we come into the office for specific activities. But apart from that, I really don't see the need for anyone to be, in a physical space unless they do not have the, infrastructure or work environment at home. Then obviously they can come to the office. But if they do have that at home, then there's really no issue in working virtually. So there are organizations that are fully virtual, big and small. It is just to find the right fit for yourself and to also have a voice and push back sometimes and say, is it possible to have this interview virtually? I would prefer that, right? Then they can still say no. If they say no, then you can travel. But you need to have a voice and you need to fight for what you want, right? If you keep quiet, then they will always tell you what to do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, can we give her a round of applause? Thank you very much, ma'am. It's been wonderful having you. We're grateful for this opportunity to have you speak to us.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of your conference. Have a good one.
Thank you, Ma.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay, can we give her a round of applause again? I know she's not here again. Yes. Okay.